Hello, hello, this is Oscar from Tercio Gaming, and lo and behold what I have here. It's Dawn of War 3! So Relic Entertainment were kind enough to give me a closed beta key for this weekend, and I've been enjoying some awesome Dawn of War style gameplay. So I'm just going to feature some gameplay from my weekend here in the background while I just talk a little bit about the game and what I think about it. Now, many people are scared and they have been comparing the game to a MOBA because really there are some things that have been copied from Dota, but it's really minor things. The game doesn't feel like a MOBA, it has no MOBA elements in it, it's a pure RTS with base building, squad management, tactics, micromanagement, all that good stuff that we love about RTSs. And it also mixes some cool stuff from previous games like the hero units and yada yada yada. The only thing that you can compare this game to a MOBA would be because to actually win the match, you have to destroy a series of key structures that the enemy has in their base. But that's where all the comparisons stop, really, because and it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I don't find it annoying at all. I think it's actually pretty good. It's pretty original. It's pretty nice to mix that kind of stuff into an RTS. So instead of winning by victory points like in Company of Heroes, or by winning by eliminating the whole enemy base, which can take 3 million years in other RTSs, in this one you just have to eliminate the core. To do that you have to eliminate the turrets, and to eliminate the turrets you have to take out the shield generator first. So there's a series of key structures that you have to take down, which adds to a kind of tug of war kind of gameplay style here. Now, just like other Relic Entertainment games, you have points that you capture in the middle of the map, which give you resources. In this case, we have two resources. We've got Requisition and Power, which are the ones that, you know, these resource points, once captured, you can start generating them. You actually get a choice. You can choose between Requisition or Power, depending on which one you prefer. You can have both if you want to, if you have the cash to build the generators for them. And then there's a third resource, which is one of the most important ones, which is Power. Power is... Wait, did I say Power? I meant Elite Points, sorry. Yes, Elite Points is that little purple diamond that you see down there. And the way that you get them over time, very slowly. And there's some resource points on the map that actually give you a faster rate of Elite Points. Now, you can spend these Elite Points on those three units that you see on the left of the screen right there. Those are elite units or hero units, like in other games. Now, the cool thing about the hero units is that you can choose which ones you want in a loadout before the match even begins. Now, this reminds me a little bit about Warcraft 3, which you had the altar heroes and you can choose the hero that you wanted. But here, you have a selection of 3 of them, and out of the game, in the menu, you have many more heroes, and you have to choose which ones you want to take with you. So it adds a layer of depth to the whole meta game outside of what are the games themselves. So you choose your heroes, and they all have an elite point cost, which is the number on the right upper corner of their portrait, as you see. And Gabriel Angelos is the first one I got there. He requires 4 elite points, while a Assault Terminator squad requires 7, and Solaria, the Imperial Knight, requires 10 because she's incredibly huge. And once you buy those elite units with your elite points, you don't have to spend those elite points on them ever again. Even if they die, what happens is that they get a cooldown, and you cannot spawn them again in the battlefield for the duration of that cooldown, but you don't have to spend more elite points on them. So it's up to you if you want to field all your elite heroes, or you just want to save up your points and get the best ones only. Of course, fielding elite units early as possible is going to give you an advantage over your enemies, so you're going to have to balance out depending on what strategy you're trying to follow here. Other classic elements from other Relic Entertainment games is like the building of listening posts on top of the resource nodes. Like as you can see here, I'm trying to destroy this listening post from the Eldar with my Space Wolf tactical marines. Squad management is the same as always. You have a squad with guys. If any of those guys die, you go back to base to replenish them by pressing the R key, so it's very similar to Company of Heroes and the previous Dawn of War games. Now base building makes a triumphant return in this Dawn of War 3. This time you can build wherever you want on the map, and the game actually encourages you to build in forward positions and not build everything in your starting position, because you see these buildings, they actually give you advantages to actually heal your elite units or to replenish your squads. So you really want to be building forward bases all the time. Now the game is giving me extremely good vibes just because blah 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 blah. Other mechanics include the escalation phases, which we should be able to see soon. If you see up there on the right hand corner, there's a little title that says Escalation Phase number 1. Now, every 10 minutes of the match, that escalation phase will change. So, once 10 minutes have gone, we will go to Escalation Phase 2. Once another 10 minutes have gone by, we will go to Escalation Phase 3. Now, what this does is increase the resource gain of all the players across the board. It also increases the health and the shields of the objective structures. So in a way, it tries to speed up the gameplay, it tries to make everything speedier by making everybody getting more resources. But it also makes the objective structures harder to kill because they gain more health. This is to compensate, of course, for having higher tier units, because later on you get the most powerful ones. Of course, if you're a very good player and you're dominating in the early game, you can press forward and take down the objective structures easily in Escalation Phase 1 or 2 and secure the victory. So it's pretty neat mechanic. There is also a maintenance mechanic straight out of Warcraft 3. Now this was I really liked it because it really does work almost the same way as in Warcraft 3. As in, you have a unit limit, and when you go over a certain number, then your maintenance, your army maintenance will go up, and you'll gain less resources per tick. So if you have like 500 units on the battlefield, your maintenance is going to be so high that maybe you won't be able to get as many resources as you might get if you had less units. And speaking about units, in this game the matches are huge. I mean, the quantity of units on screen can be massive at times. I mean, there's some battles which have so many units that you don't know what's going on. There's like flashy lights everywhere, blood and gore and bullets flying and magics, and wow. I mean, it can get pretty chaotic. So if you're a player who gets confused easily with what's going on the screen, I recommend playing a lot of single player games to get used to all the chaotic stuff going on. My first matches, I didn't know what was going on. I mean, there was so much stuff going on in the screen. But later on, I found it was pretty easy to get used to. And as long as you know which units you have and what they do, you can easily locate them in the middle of the battlefield, and it was not that such of a problem. Another thing that they've taken from Company of Heroes 2 is the bulletin system. Now, if you remember, in Company of Heroes 2 there was these little equipable items that you could equip on your loadout before starting multiplayer matches, which were called bulletins, and did stupid things like, I don't know, increase the accuracy of your conscript squad by 2%. I mean, they were like minor changes that you couldn't hardly even tell if they were making a difference or not. In Dawn of War 3 they return, but they're not as pointless this time. This time they like grant additional abilities to units, additional active abilities and passive abilities, which you can notice a difference. So for example, perhaps There's a bulletin that makes your dire rangers go invisible if you want to, so that is a pretty massive change. There's also another bulletin that makes your marines shoot while they move, which is a feature that they removed by default, and they put it into a bulletin. And the way you gain these bulletins is by playing the game constantly, because your elite units will go leveling up, and once they reach a certain level, you unlock the bulletins associated with their playstyle. In the beta, we didn't have much of a chance to check out all the bulletins and all the elite units, because in the final game there's going to be many more. It's just that in the beta they were locked out, so we could only try 15 elite units across the 3 races, and perhaps like maybe 30 bulletins in total for each. At the moment I am pleasantly surprised with the game. I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna say this, it's gonna be my main RTS from here on out, so if you want to see lots of streams and lots of videos about Doe 3, I'm going to be playing the hell out of this game. It is my new Warcraft 3, if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this first preview about Dawn of War 3. The closed beta continues until Monday afternoon, so I still have time to get more games in and record more footage for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. This is Oscar, and I'll see you later.